a good show. Tom Felton. Felt. How's it going? Not bad. Does anyone ever call you Felt?
Yes, Felt. Stuff I get at school, Felt.
Because I've started to call you it, and I realised it's quite a rude abbreviation, or seeing as I don't know you that well. I know we've met each other a couple of times before, but...
Dude, Felt is good, Felt tip, anything with Felt on it.
Is it true when you checked into a hotel, they checked you in as Snoop Hoggy Hogwarts?
Yes, you haven't brought that one so soon, but yes, my girlfriend thought it would be amusing.
Oh, your girlfriend?
My girlfriend slash
ex-girlfriend.
No, she's still there. My agent and her got together and decided that we needed to book a room for while we were staying in LA, and they thought it would be amusing to say that under the name Snoop Hoggy Hogwarts.
So when you rocked up to the hotel,
yes.
Did you know that?
No. So I said, hello, Mr. Felton. They're like, very sorry, we don't have Mr. Felton. And I was getting really wound up at this point, and we've put this 3 days in advance, like, where is the... And he said, did you have one for a Mr. Hoggy Hogwarts? And immediately my girlfriend laughed out loud, rather.
She was there with you?
Yes, she was there.
And she kept poker face?
Yeah, and the agents, they were both completely winding me up.
That's brilliant.
And then, for the next 3 days I heard, good morning, Mr. Hogwarts. How can I help you, Mr. Hogwarts? And then I had to change it. I said, look, no more Hogwarts, please.
You know, we'll talk Harry Potter. I'm going to see it tonight.
Are you really? I'm excited to hear.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, and read all the books and loved all the films, and me and my girlfriend have been away for a couple of weeks, so we haven't had a chance to...
you saved yourself.
I know.
The best is yet to come.
I think she's got tickets for 3D. I'm a little bit worried about 3D.
What's that? Why
as a concept?
As a concept?
Yeah, I kind of prefer 2D films.
I'm with you. I think... I mean, you've seen 3D films recently, right?
Yeah.
You know that they're no longer things jumping out of the screen to try and, attack you.
It's when I first saw Jaws 3D.
Yes.
It's totally off it.
That won't do you any favours for 3D. No, this is very Avatar-style 3D, where it seems like an extra dimension you can see into the screen, rather than things coming out of you. So.
It's, for me, with 3D, it's just that whole Jurassic Park thing, Jeff Goldblum thing. Is everyone thought about whether they could, and no one ever thought about whether they should. Some films should be 3D, and some films shouldn't.
No, sure. I
imagine Harry Potter does pretty well on 3D.
I think so.
Have you seen it 3D?
Yeah, I did, actually. I saw it for the first time in 3D. And I think, because this film actually is so much more action-based, it revolves so much more around fighting, really, that it kind of warrants 3D to be an additional tool that actually benefits the movie. Whereas sometimes people use 3D, I think, as a bit of a gimmick, where it doesn't really need it.
Sure.
But I think Potter generally does good from it.
Listen, we're going to riff Potter later on, but you're here in particular to talk Rise of Planet of the Apes, which I saw this week as well. I saw it on Monday. It was great.
Fantastic.
Really enjoyable.
That's good news.
And I was never, I love sci-fi and so forth, but I was never, as a kid, I'd never really got into Planet of the Apes particularly. This is completely different. It's almost prequel-esque, isn't it?
It is, and that's the most exciting thing about it, really, is that there's lots of old, previous Planet of the Apes fans from the old franchise, like my dad, who is a sort of die-hard Charlton Heston fan.
You can't turn a roll down if your dad likes the original.
He got more excited about it than I did. He was like, oh yeah, remember this line? I was like, Dad, I was 3. I don't remember you shouting at me.
You finally made it. I'm like, dude, I've been dragging him out for like 8 films.
He's got no interest in Harry Potter. Planet of the Apes, now we're talking. So yeah, he was very excited about it, and it was a great project for me to go from one to the other on.
And it's number 1 already.
Even more exciting.
Knocked yourself off you're like Adele. You've knocked yourself off the top of the chart.
Well, I'm very happy to play my part in that. Yeah, for sure. I think the studios are happy, which is obviously the main thing. I think something like this is a film where people would be quick to criticise. I mean, based on, I know that Tim Burton's one was received indifferently.
Yeah, mixed, yeah.
Some people loved it, some people hated it. This is a very, very different film from that. Like you say, people expect to kind of see humans in monkey suits in this sort of post-apocalyptic world. It's not. It's humans and scientists as we know them today, and how experiments that we're probably doing can go a little wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny. I mentioned Jurassic Park earlier on, but if you like Jurassic Park, you'd probably like this.
Very much. It's based on a very similar premise. This idea that we can kind of play God, and we can extract certain things from animals for our benefit, and this is a lesson why we shouldn't do that.
I love the fact when you're watching it, great members of cast just pop up in quite spurious places. John Lithgow is such a great actor, isn't he?
Fantastic actor, and he plays the father of James Franco, the lead scientist, and he has a great journey. It's it's marvellous to watch.
Brian Cox you worked with as well.
Brian Cox was my dad, yeah, I was really proud to have that. And although he's a lovely gentleman, he's a real hard ass on the on the screen, so that's great.
How's he to work with as an actor? You must be just, bowled away by when you meet someone like, you've had the wonderful opportunity to work with so many great actors at such a young age.
I have, but it doesn't really prepare you that much for when you meet other greats. You don't really have thousands of sentences waiting to come out. You're sort of searching for something half intelligent to say, so you just ask them where they've been and what they've been up to. But all of them, especially James, Brian, Andy Serkis, I spent a lot of time with, they were all beyond generous with their time as I bored them for endless hours of questions of previous films. How did you do this? How did you do that? And they were very polite to me all the time.
Well, James Franco I like to work with because he's got some layers on him, hasn't he?
He's got some layers. Layers is a good word. He's a mysterious man. He's like no other man I've met before. I was going to use the word creature, but that's definitely not right. He is exceptionally handsome. He's very handsome. We were getting weak at the knees on set together.
They're a good-looking couple in the film, him and Pinto.
I think he meant me and him then. I was like, wow, cheers. No, Frida again, stunning, and again, what a lovely person. She's a very, very sweet, down-to-earth girl, which was great fun working with her. But yeah, James is, you get that feeling, have you ever had that feeling, Dermot? And you may be having it now, I'm not sure, but when you sit in a room with someone and you just feel like they're exceptionally intelligent.
This is the guy, right? It's in
well, I kind of set myself up for that.
Right now.
But you know what I mean, when they're just sort of a little bit mysterious, you say something and they often wait for a second or two before replying. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I can tell me and you are similar in that you petrify the silences, so immediately you say something because you know there's silence can't be happening. I must, placate this other person, and that's because we're, normal users. Yeah. Every now and again, you're right. You meet someone and you'll say something and they'll wait, and you're just thinking, well, did that make any sense?
What did he say? Like, it sounded clever what he said. So I didn't understand it. But yeah, like I said, I couldn't say a bad word about him. He was lovely.
Did the director say to you, I want you to dye your hair blonde?
Yes, Rupert Wyatt, he was our fabulous British director who I was incredibly nervous about working with because I'd only worked for a handful of directors for the last 10 years over and over again. And this was going to a big American set where you hear these stories of directors sort of throwing chairs everywhere and screaming and shouting if they don't get what they want. And Rupert was quite the opposite. He was a very, very lovely British gentleman. And on the first screen test where they dressed me up in all my gear, I got there and he said straight away, we need you with the California blonde hair because it's not quite right. You look a bit ginger at the moment. Let's go for full blonde. And he's like, oh, really? I was like, do we really have to do that? And he goes, yeah, it's really important for the role. So I said fine begrudgingly, and then he kind of punched me in the ribs and said, no, I'm just joking with you. But
that was your initiation test.
That was my initiation, and it was a nice way to break the ice, to be fair, because after that I knew this guy was a joker and I could kind of say whatever I wanted to. One of the most important things I think between not just directors and actors, but all casts, really, and all crews, is that like you can all talk to each other on a level. If there's some sort of hierarchy in how to talk to someone, then it all kind of goes a bit of a nightmare.
It breeds resentment, I suppose, doesn't it? Just that kind of like, oh my God, is that guy going to have a go at me again if I do this?
Yeah, and it also could be the opposite as well, where the crew, or whatever it is, the cast or the crew become their own little unit.
Cliquey.
Yeah, and then you're not in it, so then you wish that you were in it. It's very political.
Which is why your advice is to turn up and just abuse everyone and then we'll all...
Basically, that's why everyone's on stage.
Listen, you picked some tunes, as our guests always do.
I did.
You've got quite old school taste, in a good way.
Well, you know what?
We're starting off with the Beatles, Blackbird.
Do it, man. That's a classic. My mum more so. She took me to see... She's been a Paul McCartney fan all my life. Actually, when you and I did the comic relief thing, and Paul was there, she actually hid in the corner of the room, quivering the whole time. And I insisted, come on, let's go meet Paul. He'll be friendly. And she refused.
She wouldn't do it.
She wouldn't do it.
So she went all the way there.
All the way there.
In the same room.
Yep.
She wouldn't...
He's that much of a legend to her that she wouldn't refuse. She refused to even go up there.